The Las Vegas Raiders just made 12 official roster moves, and today, we're breaking down everything you need to know. Now, two of those moves actually happened yesterday, but we're including them here for the full picture. That includes the additions of linebacker Jaylon Smith and safety Jonathan Sutherland. We'll revisit those signings briefly before diving into today's updates. Let's get right to it. The Raiders have officially parted ways with 6 players. Among them was Dominic Boyd, an undrafted free agent offensive tackle who had been brought in for a shot at making the roster. But the most notable name cut? Linebacker Amari Bernie. Bernie was a 5th-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft out of Florida. Drafted during the Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler era, he brought impressive athleticism to the table. However, questions about his ability to contribute at linebacker never went away. While he showed potential on special teams, the Raiders appear to be moving in a different direction. One major factor in Bernie's release could be the addition of jaylon Smith, a veteran linebacker with experience and leadership. On top of that, Las Vegas selected Cody Lindenberg in this year's draft, another sign they're reshaping the linebacker room. Keep an eye on Amari Gaynor as well. Gaynor brings coverage ability that Bernie simply struggled to develop. His versatility might give him an edge as the Raiders continue evaluating talent at the position. Sometimes, athleticism just isn't enough, and for Amari Bernie, that may have been the case. He had the physical tools, but things never really clicked on the field. The Raiders appear ready to avoid repeating past mistakes, especially with players who resemble previous inconsistent performers, like Divine Diablo. Bernie showed flashes, but never fully delivered. To be fair, Bernie has dealt with constant change. Going through 3 different coaching staffs in just over a year isn't easy for any young player. Still, the Raiders made the decision to move on. Another name released was Matthew Butler, a defensive tackle drafted in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL Draft out of Tennessee. Like Bernie, Butler was part of the previous regime led by Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. Since entering the league, Butler has floated between the practice squad and active roster, but never managed to lock down a consistent role. Behind the scenes, there had been questions about his work ethic. A few seasons ago, reports surfaced that the team wasn't thrilled with the effort level from both Butler and fellow defensive tackle, Neil Farrell Jr. Farrell was later traded to the Chiefs, and now Butler finds himself without a spot on the roster. For a team that preaches competition and accountability, it's no surprise that the Raiders continue clearing out players who don't align with that mindset. Between Bernie and Butler, these are easily the most recognizable names among the latest roster cuts. If you had either of them penciled into your 53-man projection, you're not alone. Bernie was expected to stick around by some analysts. Now the question is, which cut surprised you more? If it's Matthew Butler, drop an MB in the comments. If it's Amari Bernie, type AB either way. The message is clear. The Raiders are resetting the culture and aren't afraid to move on, even from recent draft picks. The Raiders' decision to release Amari Bernie at this point in the offseason might actually be a good sign for Amari Gaynor. It shows the team may be confident in what Gaynor brings to the table. Still, there's some concern. If the front office believes jaylon Smith is the solution at linebacker, it raises questions about the overall depth and long-term outlook of the position group. Let's take a look at the other players the team waived. McAllister was an interesting name, mostly due to his speed and potential value as a return specialist. But with Tommy Malacchio emerging as a front-runner in return duties, and Dylan LeVay and Trey Tucker also in the mix, there simply wasn't room for McAllister. Despite his 4.3 speed, it wasn't enough to earn him a roster spot on a team that's already stacked with wide receiver talent. Smith, a Penn State product, ended last season on the Raiders' practice squad. He re-signed earlier this offseason but couldn't secure a place in the new system. The linebacker room is clearly going through a transformation, and Smith didn't fit into the current plans. Wilkerson was officially released, not waived, a key difference. With 4 accrued NFL seasons, he becomes a free agent and can sign with any team immediately. If there's a team to watch, it might be the New England Patriots, given his ties to several former Raiders coaches. As for the other waived players, including Bernie and McAllister, they'll go through the waiver wire. If any are picked up, Bernie would likely be at the top of the list. In total, 6 players are now off the roster. That sets the stage for the next wave of moves, new signings, which we'll break down next. And to be honest, a lot of these names are brand new to most fans. So let's take a closer look at who's joining the silver and black. Let's talk about the 6 new additions to the Raiders roster, including Jaylon Smith and Jonathan Sutherland, who were both signed following rookie minicamp. These moves signal that the coaching staff saw enough promise during those practices to bring them into the fold. Smith signed with the Raiders on Sunday after participating in all 3 days of rookie minicamp. He's a familiar face, having played with Las Vegas in 2023, and is known for his leadership and locker room presence. Though injuries have slowed his career since his college days at Notre Dame, Smith is still just 29 years old. The Raiders clearly believe he can bring value, whether it's as a veteran backup or special teams contributor. Sutherland joins the team after 5 years at Penn State, where he made history by being named a 4-time team captain, a rare honor shared only with former Nittany Lions quarterback Sean Clifford. While he hasn't played in the NFL yet, his leadership and college production give him a shot to compete for a depth or special teams role in Las Vegas. More detailed breakdowns of these players and the other signings will be coming soon. With so many fresh faces following rookie minicamp, it's clear the Raiders are keeping their options open as they continue shaping the roster heading into the summer. Stay tuned, we'll dive deeper into the rest of the new signings in upcoming coverage. The Raiders continue to build depth after rookie minicamp, adding 4 more players to the roster. Let's take a closer look at these recent signings and what they could bring to the silver and black. Standing 6 feet 4 inches and weighing 252 pounds, Harvey is an edge rusher from SMU. He's an athletic prospect who brings length and upside to a position where the Raiders clearly want more competition. There's also a connection here. Harvey played with Tank Booker, another undrafted defensive tackle the Raiders recently brought in from SMU. The wide receiver room adds more size with Johnson, who had 12 catches for 236 yards at Baylor. At 6 feet 3 inches and 205 pounds, he fits the mold the Raiders seem to be targeting this offseason: tall, athletic pass catchers who can stretch the field and win jump balls. Another SMU product, Hudson is listed at 6 feet 1 inch and 191 pounds. Last season, he posted 33 catches for 527 yards and 5 touchdowns. Just like Johnson, Hudson's frame and production suggests the Raiders are prioritizing length and downfield playmaking ability at the receiver position. At 6 feet 1 inch, 242 pounds, Steiner adds more depth to the linebacker group. He brings solid size and is likely to compete for a special teams role initially. Still, with the linebacker room in flux, he could earn a shot on defense if he proves himself in camp. These moves show one thing clearly: the Raiders are focused on competition. They're bringing in athletic, hungry players to fight for roster spots, especially at wide receiver, linebacker, and edge rusher. We'll have a full breakdown of each signing coming soon, including tape review and scouting analysis. Stay tuned for that deep dive as the team continues to shape its 90-man roster.